Welcome back to the channel, guys. We got a great video that I've been working really hard on this. So if you want to sit back and relax, this should be about a good 40-minute video. But really, this is going to be my guilty pleasures of horror movies. Starting off with Halloween 4. This movie is my favorite of the whole franchise. I've watched this movie so many times. I absolutely love everything about this movie. Yeah, the mask, it keeps changing, and you get the one mask where it's like pink face and a blonde hair. Like, how do you come up with that shit, guys? It's unbelievable. But I love the tone. I love the vibe of this movie. Haddonfield, this is the best Haddonfield of all the Haddonfields. And what I mean by that, like the rednecks when they go loose looking for Michael Myers, hunting them down. Absolutely love that. And like that blue colored tone in this. In the opening scene, it's so terrifying. Like the opening scene credits just before they go to the mental asylum, it's just terrifying. There's no one talking, but they show like tone of what this movie's gonna be. Of course, Danielle Harris, absolutely love Danielle Harris, and who doesn't love the thumb going through the forehead? Like, I absolutely love this movie. I think I've seen this movie over 60 times. Like, it is definitely my favorite guilty pleasure of all time. Next, it'd be Halloween 6. I come back to this movie a lot more than the average person. Absolutely. Yeah, I know this movie is definitely not the greatest, but like, this is the scariest fucking movie in the franchise. Like, every time I try to like put this on and go like complete pitch black at my house, it's like, nope, I need to turn a light on because this is scary as fuck. The mask of Michael Myers, in my opinion, is the second greatest mask behind the original. Yeah, Halloween 2018 kills and ends, solid mask, very solid, but this mask is creepy. And George Wilbur, that played majority of Michael in this movie, he also played Michael Myers in the fourth movie. Just absolutely terrifying. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the lead in this movie. I love that speech by Mrs. Blankenship. I mean, Paul Rudd, this is like his very first movie ever. Not bad at all. And of course, you get the final Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis scene of all the Halloween movies. Very sad. But of course, that massacre scene where Michael goes apeshit with that very long ass knife. Absolutely love this movie. Yeah, this, like I said, this movie definitely has a lot of things wrong with it, but it is scary as fuck. And it's a huge guilty pleasure of mine. Next is the recent Halloween Ends movie. And guys, I get it. You guys don't like Corey, the fact that he beat up Michael, took his mask. I get it. I 100% agree with you on that. I didn't like the way Michael was portrayed in this. And the ending, in my opinion, really sucked. It's just like, why would the town walk like that just to throw Michael into that fucking shredder? But there's something about this movie I just keep coming back to. Like, I absolutely love Halloween 2018. Halloween Kills is like Halloween 6, but better. But this one is like, I give a lot of respect to David Gordon Green for doing a big swing on this. And I get it, because like originally it was just gonna be Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends was like a last minute thought, so they really had to come up with something different. But I love it's just different, and I give them respect for that. And like the kills, even the kills from that Corey kid, the ones he does, it really reminds me of what Michael would do. Yeah, Michael is definitely not much into this, but when you do finally get Michael, you're like, okay, I respect this. That's badass. But yeah, I get it. The scene with Corey taking the mask from Michael, I get it, guys. I'm not a fan of that either. But like, I remember watching this in theaters, and there was like me and 3 guys, and I was just like the kid in a fucking candy store. So this is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine, and I hope a lot of you guys over time will come around and just give it some respect. All right, let's move on to other franchise. So this one is definitely a hot take, but like A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, I'm not saying is a bad movie at all, but it's also not great either. But there's a lot of things I really enjoy about this movie. Yeah, the look of Freddy, absolutely terrible. The CGI phase, I get it, absolutely terrible. But the way the movie was made, like the look of it, it's really fucking good. And the score is pretty solid. I didn't mind the actors. The acting was pretty good. The kills were sweet, like that diner scene when the guy with a knife goes to his throat. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, it definitely has some mix of the OG moments in it. You know, like when that chick is lifted up and she gets gutted. So that's definitely like an OG remake. Like if I did a franchise rankings of Nightmare on Elm Street, this is definitely in the bottom tier list of that franchise. But it definitely has a guilty pleasure enough where like, I don't mind watching this movie at all when it's on. So that's why it's on this list. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna hate this movie. Next, Friday the 13th. I got 2 movies I want to talk about. The remake. Absolutely fucking love this remake. In my opinion, it's better than the original movie. And I'm not afraid to say that at all. The Jason is amazing in this. I absolutely love the look of Jason. The actor that played Jason, fantastic. I love the idea of he's human and not supernatural. Like, that's what Friday the 13th lost me. It's like we started getting way too supernatural. Bring it back to more human elements. This is definitely what you get. It's like that survival with the tunnels underneath. I love the look of Crystal Lake in this. The opening 20 minutes is like the best opening 20 minutes ever. That group of cast, I would absolutely love them to be the main cast in this movie. But man, this movie I can watch over and over again. Yeah, those dumb blondes, they're just there just to show their tits, but it has a great comedy, great humor in it. The kills are fantastic. Again, I think this is better than the original, and a lot of you guys might not like that, but it is what it is in my world. Next, we got Friday the 13th Part 5. I absolutely love Part 5. This is my introduction into this franchise. I remember having a VHS tape recorded over, because back in the day you could put VHS tape and whoever's on TV you can record. So like I remember having a shit ton of VHS tapes, and this was my introduction. Like, yeah, you don't have a Jason in this, I get that, but it is definitely a Friday the 13th 80s vibe movie. Absolutely. Bunch of blood, bunch of kills, a lot of TNA. So it's like everything you want for a Friday the 13th movie, you get in this. Yes, such we get a different Tommy Jarvis than we did in Part 4. And in my opinion, Part 4 is the best Friday the 13th of the whole franchise. And it's a little funny that this Tommy Jarvis is like a Karate Kid Tommy Jarvis. But I really enjoy this movie. I do. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna admit I love Part 5. If I did a franchise rankings, it'd be like right in the middle, more toward the bottom. So it's definitely not up there, but I really enjoy this movie. Next, Child's Play 3. This is my introduction into the Child's Play, the Chucky franchise. Again, this isn't near the top of the list, but I love that death scene with that garbage man guy. Whenever I think of Child's Play 3, the first thing that comes to mind is that death scene when that guy gets stuck in the garbage truck. Every time. Yeah, we get a new Andy Barkley. He's new, older, and it's like a different location with the military academy, the school. But the ending I thought was great when Chucky switches out the fake paint bullets for real bullets, and then like at the end he gets his hand chopped off and they put the knife in it. I thought the ending was great, and of course the way he dies in the end of 3 is what you get for Bride of Chucky. Like the Frankenstein look, because you got to put them all back together. But man, I really love this movie. I come back to it all the time. All right, next. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D. A lot of people hate this movie, but for some reason, I keep coming back to watch this movie. Yeah, the Leatherface isn't the greatest, and I absolutely hate this whole cousin. At the end, she's like, "Go get him, cousin." Absolutely hate that. But there's something about this movie where like it takes off. Like you start this movie out immediately after the ending of the original movie. You bring back a lot of OG cast, like Gunnar Hansen, he's back. Bill Moseley from Part 2, he's back. You got the guy that played the grandpa, he's back. Marilyn Burns, the survivor girl from the original movie, she's back. So that was great, but you can tell like when they were burning down the house, it was like fake fire. This movie definitely wasn't made well, and like Scott Eastwood, great actor, I love him. Even though he's Clint Eastwood's son, he's still a solid actor, but this is not the role for him in this movie. It just was way off. Yeah, the young blood isn't the greatest, but there's something about this movie I just, like, if it's on, I have no problem watching it. So it's definitely a guilty pleasure in my book. Next is the original Anaconda movie. It seems like a lot of people hate this movie more than I thought, man. I absolutely love this movie. The way that the Anaconda looks, still today it holds up. The CGI is not bad at all. It has a great cast. I mean, you got J-Lo, Ice Cube, and you have a great villain that's human within the humans. It's not just snakes. But I get it when it comes to like the snake, like does like this yell and shit. It's like a snake doesn't make that vocal noise. But man, this was like my introduction to like creature feature movies. Like shark, snakes, octopus, crocodiles. This was my original introduction to all this. So it's definitely guilty pleasure of mine. Next, we got the Crazies remake. So the first Crazies, it's okay. I really love this remake. I'm from Iowa. This was filmed in Iowa. It took place in Iowa. So that might have something to do with it. But man, the deaths are absolutely crazy. I mean, that's what the title, The Crazy, is. Like that one scene when he burns his wife and kid alive in the house and he's out mowing the yard. It's like, oh, okay, that's fucked up. But the way this movie starts out, so to speak, it's like that guy comes out into a baseball field with a shotgun. It's like, oh, this is one of these movies, and they start off quick with this movie. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like how Act 3 was, like with the way the military was portrayed. It just didn't seem realistic, but man, this movie, every time I see it on TV, I'm definitely gonna watch it. Next is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, is the John Carpenter's Vampires. Absolutely love this villain vampire, Valak. Of all the vampires, this is like the main villain that I love. And I'm a big history guy. I absolutely love history movies. So I love the history of like how the church, the Vatican, they started this and about the first vampire. I love hearing stories about that. And there's really no CGI. And of course you got that one scene in the hotel where it's just a blood massacre. Man, that scene is usually the first thing I think of every time. And of course, they want to make a sequel, and the sequel sucked. Next, this is one of those vampire movies that like a lot of people do not talk about at all. And that's The Night Flyer, which is a Stephen King adaptation. Man, I think I've seen this movie over 30 times. It's on YouTube. Go watch it, guys. I love the score, the tone, the soundtrack of this. It is so creepy. This movie is creepy as fuck. The vampire is really sweet. They bring in like the original Dracula, like the actor that played it. So they kind of mix that all together. But of course you got a vampire that flies at night with this crazy airplane that's full out black. It's just something you don't ever see in a vampire movie. The lead, absolutely, I forgot what his name is, but he is such a great actor. And this is one of my favorite movies of him. He's in that one movie, The Blank Check, and a few other movies, but this is the one where I see him. This is the one I think of the most. And of course the ending massacre scene at the airport, like that was fucking nuts. But this is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. I can watch this so many times. When it's around the Halloween season, I definitely watch this movie. Next is Lake Placid. This is my favorite crocodile alligator movie of all time. Absolutely love the tone of this movie. It's so serious when it needs to be, but has great comedy chops that lands perfect timing. The pacing is great. The location up in Maine, fantastic. Stan Winston did the look of the croc. And that what makes a good croc, alligator, shark movie is the look of the creature. Absolutely fantastic. And of course you got the twist when you have more than one of them. And who doesn't love Betty White? Betty White, I don't watch any stuff that involves Betty White, but this is the Betty White I absolutely love. Man, I miss her dearly. And of course it is full of A-list actors, whereas like these roles for these people are perfect for them. Because you can throw any A-list actor in movies and it's like, you're a great actor, but this isn't really your role. This movie with all these actors, they land perfectly. Next, it's called The Beast. It's a TV show that is made by Peter Benchley. Peter Benchley, of course, wrote the book for the Jaws. But this is my favorite squid, octopus, kraken adaptation, however you want to look at it. But the location of it takes place off the coast of the state of Washington. I lived in Tacoma, Washington, so I absolutely love anything off the coast of Washington because it makes perfect sense. That water is freezing cold. It is deep, it is dark, a lot of things are down there, so this makes total sense. But the look of the squid for back in the day was fantastic. You didn't have CGI, so this was a lot of practical effects, miniature models. But when I think of this movie, I think of that one scene when they all get killed while they're in the subs. Oh, dude, absolutely just gives me chills every time. And this is why I do not do deep diving at all, because this movie just terrifies me to go out this way. There's several kills in this movie that is just gnarly and nasty. And of course you got the twist where they thought they killed the squid. Turns out that's just the baby. And then the mother's still out there. And it's like, oh fuck. And that mother is a lot bigger. Next, it's called Bats. This is really the only bat movie out there that's worth watching. I know they came with a sequel, I think, for this, but that was complete garbage. But this one isn't bad at all. Yeah, the look of the bats, a lot of people think is stupid as fuck. Okay, I get that. It's not bad at all. I actually really enjoy this movie. I come back to this a lot. The actors aren't bad at all. I really enjoy the acting in this. The story is really cool. It's really about like a mad scientist that experiments on bats, but he fucks up and they get out and they're just overpopulating. So if they don't kill all these bats, the whole world is fucked. But you get this one scene where like the town gets absolutely slaughtered, massacred. It's just one of those guilty pleasure movies for mine that I just keep coming back to all the time. Alright, so this one is definitely gonna be, I'm definitely in the minority for this one. I already know it's coming because I hear nothing but bad things about this movie. And it's The Fog, the remake. Okay, so it is not better than the original. I will 100% agree on that. The original Fog, John Carpenter, 100% better than this. But for some reason with this movie, I just love coming back to this movie. I love how it's that West Coast, that like Oregon, Washington State coast. There's something about that I just absolutely love. The history lesson about like the founding fathers and generation, because like I'm part of like a founding father from my small town in Mount Vernon, Iowa, so it kind of hits home for me when it comes to that. Yeah, I don't like the fact that the Fog was like CGI. It had a mind of its own. In the ending, it's like a girl gets taken away by this ghost, and then you got these stupid blondes on the boat that's there just to shake their ass and tits. I get that. But I didn't mind the main actor at all. He played, Smallville. I think it's like Tom Welling. But I just enjoy coming back to this movie. I really do. The soundtrack is not bad at all. And of course, it's not, like I said, it's not better than the original movie. But for some odd reason, I've seen this movie over 20 times. and it doesn't stop me from watching it again. I will admit, I enjoy this movie. I get it. Next, we got Tremors 2. This is really the only sequel in the Tremors franchise that's worth watching, in my opinion. The third and the fourth, like, they're okay. The fifth one, you go to Africa. Then the sixth one, you're like in a cold weather environment. Then the latest one, you're on an island somewhere in like South America or some shit. But man, the second one, absolutely watch this movie probably 50 times. Almost, I don't know if I've seen this more than the original movie, but the original and the second one, I've seen a shit ton of times. I love how they take the graboid from the first movie and they evolve into shriekers. So now you can attack both underground and above ground. That was great, but then of course they added the ass blasters in the third movie. It's like, all right, now we're going left field here. But in the second movie, like the opening scene is usually the first thing I think about in Tremors 2 when that guy's like jumping on the oil barrels, then he gets fucking eaten alive. I'm like, okay, this is what I love. And the fact that they bring Earl back, this is my favorite Earl. Yeah, he's in just the first two movies, but in my opinion, this was better than the first one when it comes to Earl, the character. And Burt Gummer. Burt Gummer's in every single fucking Tremors movies. And that's what ruined me, the franchise. Like, he's not a bad actor, not a bad character, but it's like, I don't need to see him in every single fucking Tremors movie. I do not. But in this one, this is my favorite Burt Gummer of all Burt Gummers. I love about this how he's at home and he's like, he has nothing to do. He's low on life. And he comes to Mexico with all the fucking guns he can think of. And he just blows up all these Tremors. And of course, you gotta love the little remote control cars with dynamite on it. Like, that's just clever genius right there. Next, we got Wolf. This came out like in the mid 90s. I think it was 1994. But it is scary as fuck. It really is. Jack Nicholson in this. Man, the look of this is great because it's like now full transformation, but it's enough to tell like, you're definitely not human. You're definitely something else. The ending, Act 3, is really amazing with all these actors coming together. And you got these two werewolves attacking each other. And it's in slow motion. But again, man, just creepy as fuck. And if you have not watched this movie, I highly recommend watching this movie. Like Michelle Pfeiffer, fantastic in this movie also. Next, we got Demon Knight. This is my favorite of all like Tales of the Crypts, you know, the movies and TV shows. This is definitely my favorite of all of them. Again, that one scene I think when I hear about this movie is when that guy lets all the demons in and he thinks he's good to go, but then they all just pretty much eat him alive. And it's like, oh crap, scary as fuck, dude. I love the actors in this. Like Billy Zane plays like the main villain, and it has stuff to do with like Jesus Christ, the blood. Like, yeah, it's not the greatest movie at all. That's why it's a guilty pleasure. But if I had one Tales of the Crypt movie, the Demon Knight is absolutely the first one I would watch. Hands down. Next is Deep Rising. This is really like one of my favorite, like, I wouldn't call this creature like a natural creature because it's not a giant squid, it's not an octopus. It could be like a kraken, but it's not really a kraken. But it's just a great popcorn flick movie. I can watch this all the time. Has decently good actors in it, definitely a lot of people where you recognize them. The ending is awesome. It, you know, like in my opinion, when they end up on this island and you see you hear the creature coming toward them, but then it shuts off. I was expecting a sequel to this and we never fucking got it, and that really pissed me off. And some say, like, a fan theory that the ending was like Skull Island. I 100% can believe that. But this is one of those movies where it is terrifying. And I think of that death scene where that chick's on the toilet and she gets like sucked under. And it's like, I remember like whenever I go to the bathroom, like, I don't know if I want to, man, because I just saw this movie. But absolutely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next is Prometheus. A lot of people don't like this movie, the Alien franchise, just because there's like no xenomorphs at all in this. But man, this movie is absolutely beautifully shot. The soundtrack, the score, this is like Ridley Scott, just right up there with this fantastic directing. I wouldn't put this in his top 5 movies, but it's definitely like in his top 10 movies of all time for Ridley Scott. But in my opinion, it's very underrated. I love the look of this. Michael Fassbender that played David. Of all like androids, this is one of my favorite androids. And it's a nice, like, you know, if you really love this alien universe, this alien franchise, this definitely like fills in a lot of holes of like how they got started. And of course in Alien Romulus, they kind of picked up on that a little bit. And the Alien Earth TV show, they kind of picked up a little more on this. But man, I absolutely love Prometheus. Next is Hannibal Rising. A lot of people don't even know about this movie, this Hannibal movie. And this is the prequel to Hannibal. it pretty much was the backstory of him being a child and a young teen, young adult, and how he became the Hannibal that you saw. So we get the introduction. Of course, we had the Manhunter movie, but then it was remade into The Silence of the Lambs. Then we had the sequel, Hannibal, which was directed by Ridley Scott. And then we got the Red Dragon. So we see Hannibal as an adult all this time, and we're wondering, how is he the way he is? And this movie definitely tells you everything you need to know why he became the person he is. It shows you why he became a cannibal. It shows you how he's really an art history, like he knows his shit when it comes to the history of art. And like cooking and all that stuff definitely is from this movie. The actor that played Hannibal Lecter, you really get a good act. I thought it was brilliant. And the fact that the way he kills all these like Nazi guys, man, I can watch this movie over and over again. Now it's just Alien 3. Man, so this movie is definitely a step below Alien and Aliens. I absolutely agree. It's nothing close to those movies at all. But for some reason, I feel like this was a great send-off to the character Ripley. Like, she did not need to come back for Alien Resurrection. This was a great send-off the way she died at the end. But I love the location. It's like a prison. It's all males. Great actors. And has a decent, good couple speeches. So this movie is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Yeah, I didn't like the CGI-ish of the Xenomorph. But you do get like a POV of it too, which is something new. Because you don't really get to see like his look, how like the way he looks. So that was kind of cool. But I really enjoyed watching this movie. I come back to this a lot. And David Fincher, the director of this, he got screwed over because like the whole production was just a hot mess before he got there. So this is him really saving it. So I respect that. Next is Jaws 2. I think this was a great follow-up to Jaws. Like Jaws, of course, is the greatest shark movie of all time. Even though it came out in 1975, you're not going to beat this movie at all. So it's really hard to live up to that. But I'm surprised they brought back a lot of the original characters, which is fantastic. Back to the same location. You get a good second meal of this Jaws franchise because, of course, Jaws 3 just went down the hill and Jaws 4 is just absolutely garbage. So any Jaws movie, this is definitely the one that's worth watching when it comes to the sequels. But I really love how the shark goes after these teens. And I thought the young blood, the teens, were actually pretty solid. They're out sailing and they're getting stuck. The shark looks great also too. So I don't mind this movie at all. I can watch this movie over and over again. It's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next is Fright Night 2. So the first Fright Night, that's in the top 5 vampire movies of all time, in my opinion. The second one, which is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, some people don't even know this movie's out there. But you got the main lead, he's back. And you got the old fart from the first movie, he's back again, Roddy McDowall. So you got the main leads back. You got a different new girl, and she's actually really beautiful. She's actually not bad actress at all. And this is like the one and only movie she did. But you get this new vampire. She's a female vampire. She's a sister of the vampire from the first movie. You don't just get that one vampire. You get like a bunch of sidekicks. And they're not just vampires. Like one's a werewolf. One's a creature that like eats bugs, which is really weird. But this scene, I always think about this scene. You have this other vampire that comes out of the fog. And he's on like roller skates. And he kills this person. Like, I don't know why. But that scene always pops in my head. And of course, you get that one scene where they're all at the bowling alley. And they killed a bunch of people before you see it, but they're throwing like the heads down the lanes, and it's what they're using as bowling balls. It's just a great vampire movie that I love coming back to. Next is Ernest Scared Stupid. So of all Ernest movies, this and the Christmas ones are really the two that I enjoy, but this is definitely huge on my list when it comes to a Halloween movie. When I wake up on Halloween, I always turn on Hocus Pocus, and then I turn on Ernest Scared Stupid as the second movie. That is definitely my 1-2 punch. Man, as a kid, I was absolutely terrified watching this movie. The look of the troll, the practical effects, still holds up pretty fucking good. Yeah, it's an earnest movie. You gotta take that with a grain of salt. But man, absolutely love this movie. And that little girl, when I was like 5 years old, that was like my first crush ever when it came to a movie. Next, we got Leprechaun 3. I love this fucking movie. It's Leprechaun in Vegas. Like, one of the best combination of like a creature in a location setting. Has plenty of comedy chops in it. Yeah, it's absolutely not the greatest movie at all, but it has one of the nastiest deaths in the franchise when it comes to that chainsaw cutting the guy in half. I still today cannot watch. I have to like look away. It's just one of those scenes where I'm just like, nope, I am not, because it's just nasty as fuck, dude. But I really love this movie, I do. Next is Jack Frost. A lot of people might forget about this movie, but this is definitely not the Michael Keaton Jack Frost. This is a killer Jack Frost where you have this serial killer that like he gets killed and he transforms into snow, and he comes back as a killer snowman. It sounds stupid, but it's definitely one of those cheesy movies where it's like, man, every once in a while I just have to put on. Shannon Elizabeth, she's in this, so that definitely does help, you know, from 13th Ghost, the Scary Movie movies. But it's just one of those movies where, like, if you haven't seen it, it's just hard to explain without laughing about it. But it's just a guilty pleasure of mine. Next is 30 Days of Night. I love this vampire movie. And it's like the perfect setting for a vampire because it's about this town in Alaska, I think it's Alaska, where every year they have no sunlight for 30 days. So as a vampire, you're like, this is fucking perfect. I got a whole month to walk around and I don't have to like hide. I do what I want. We're in Alaska. So right there is cool. The look of the vampires are creepy as fuck and they have like their own language. Gnarly deaths in this too. Yeah, the third act doesn't really hold up. The pacing's off a little bit. But I love the first like 20-25 minutes. It starts off great, but then it slowly just kind of loses me. But as a vampire person like me, I love vampire movies. This definitely holds up for a guilty pleasure vampire. Next is Pet Sematary 2. Again, another movie with a third act. Absolutely sucked. But I love the first 2 acts in this movie. Mostly the first like 40 minutes, and then it just goes downhill quick for me. But I love how they kind of pick up after the first movie. It's in the same town. It's not the same house, but it's definitely close enough where you go down the same path. And the sheriff in this, he's pretty nasty. He's pretty gnarly. And he kills this one kid with his dirt bike. And that is usually the scene I think about when I think of Pet Sematary 2. But like this is one of those movies where like I don't mind watching, but then once it gets to the third act, I just move on from it. But it's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. I watched this a lot as a kid, so it's definitely up there. Next, this is my favorite werewolf movie of all time, and this is Dog Soldiers. Man, the fact that we have no sequel or a prequel to this really pisses me off. Man, I just love this movie so much. The look of the werewolves and the actors, the casting of it, fantastic. And it starts out like you're in the woods, but then you end up in a house and you do like a last stand at Alamo type deal to the point where there's one person left standing. And it takes place in the Scottish Highlands, which is like, it makes sense when it comes to a werewolf movie. For some reason, that seems like the best location for this. But I'm still mad we have not got a sequel for this movie, and it's just, someday we fucking better. Next, we got The Grey, which is about these wolves that just absolutely tear apart these people. So it's about this plane crash that goes down. I believe it's in Alaska. It's somewhere up there in the north where you're out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and you got the cold ass winter coming down on you, so you can freeze to death if you don't have a fire. But Liam Neeson, he's in this, so you got great actors starting off, and you have a few side actors that are pretty solid that you will recognize. The wolves, yeah, they look kind of stupid at some point. The CGI doesn't really hold up that great, but there's some nasty ass deaths in this movie. But when it comes to like wolves itself, like not werewolves, just the straight up wolves, this is, in my opinion, the best one out there. Next, this is a Stephen King adaptation of Storm of the Century. I think I watched this movie so much as a kid where it's definitely ingrained in me. Like I've seen this probably 30 times. I got this very early on, the VHS. It's one of those double VHS tapes because it's a part 2. It's a really long movie, almost like It, the TV series. Is kind of the same like length there. And this was also my introduction to that mystery of Roanoke, you know, the colony that disappeared. This is when I first heard about that, so this was my introduction to that. But of course, it's kind of like that stranger that comes into a small town and that person knows everyone's secret. And there's a lot of stuff. There's even a Twilight Zone episode that's about this, about like a stranger that knows everyone's secrets. But the villain, absolutely love this villain. Fantastic. The leads are great. The acting is solid. I love the location of it being like an island, so to speak. But this is definitely a guilty pleasure that I watched so much as a kid that a lot of people don't talk about much. Next is Fear. This is more of a thriller, but it's definitely in the horror genre. But like you got a psycho, Mark Wahlberg, just losing his shit. A young Reese Witherspoon. Like those two, like yeah, those are definitely the couple of their mid-90s. But really, it's a great dad-daughter duo. And it's like a dad's worst nightmare of their daughter dating a psycho. But the ending is fantastic, and this whole movie is just full of tension. But again, the ending definitely lives up to this movie because like this movie just builds and builds and builds, and it's one of those movies where like they better fucking deliver on the ending, and I think they did. And this is one of those standalone films where we don't need a sequel, we don't need a prequel. It's just this one movie, good enough. I really hope we don't do a remake on this. but I love coming back to this movie every once in a while. Next, this is the remake for Stepfather. So I don't mind the first couple Stepfathers back in the day, but this remake, it's not bad at all. It's definitely an interesting situation of coming home and your mom's dating a psycho, and you slowly figure it out that this guy's in the top 10 most wanted. And once they figure it out, it's just one of those great twists and turns. It's like when you think it's going one direction, it turns into a different direction. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and then it does it again. It does it again and again. And the kills are pretty good, but it's really like a nightmare situation as a kid coming home and dealing with a stepfather. I didn't mind this remake at all. I can watch this over and over again. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but it's definitely worth watching in my opinion. Next, this is one of those M. Night Shyamalan movies that a lot of people don't talk about much, and it's Devil. It's really about this movie where it mostly takes place in an elevator, so it's really hard to come up with a story. It's kind of like Saw, it's like one location, and it's really a slow burner with the cop, because there's a cop on the outside trying to figure out what's going on, and he starts out as a non-believer, but then by the end of the movie he's a full-on believer when it comes to the devil. It definitely has a twisting ending, because it's like a red herring of who in the elevator is killing these people, who is the devil, and it's really hard to figure, like at least the first time it's really hard to figure out who that one is. And when you figure that out, you're like, oh, I was not expecting that person to be the devil. But it's creepy, it's simple to follow, and I really love this movie. Next is The Ruins. This is like a standalone film. I'm pretty sure there's not a sequel or a remake to this, but you have this young blood that goes out in the middle of this like South America jungle, and they find this pyramid, and the locals, I think they're the Mayans, they just don't touch this pyramid at all, because it's really about these plants that just kill you in the nastiest way possible. But it's definitely one of those movies where it's like, this movie needs more recognition. Yeah, it's definitely not up there with like the top 20 90s or early 2000 movies, but it's pretty solid. It has good actors in it, definitely ones you'll recognize when you see them. And it's really nice at the end you get someone that actually survives and gets away. So for me, this is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next, this is Rogue. It's like one of those crocodile movies where not many people talk about much, and I enjoyed this movie a lot. I really enjoyed the first like alligator movie, and the sequel is not bad, but this is one of those croc movies where I can watch this no matter what. I really love the location setting, and you have good actors in this, and like Sam Worthington from Avatar, he's in this. He was on Terminator Salvation. The only thing I didn't like about this was he didn't get much screen time, because this was before he was like known. So if he was more popular, he might have like been in more of the movie. But it's really about this group of people that like get stranded in the Australian outback, and they have to survive this one croc. And the croc, it's like a slow burn, like in Jaws, you see a little bit of him. So that's not bad at all. Next is Urban Legends. This movie, I still can't believe how many great horror icons are in this movie. Like Robert Englund's in this, Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky. He's in this. And this is one of those first movies where it's like post I Know What You Did Last Summer. Because after I Know What You Did Last Summer, they'd have plenty of ripoffs. This, I would say, would be the best one of all. This even came out with a sequel. I think it was like Bloody Mary. Or that was the third one. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm not a fan of who the killer is. I didn't like that. It didn't seem right. The look of the, with the winter coat. Yeah, I know this movie was supposed to take place in the winter. That's why they had like that winter coat on. But it's like, really? That's what you come up with? Could have done a little better. But I still don't mind coming back to this movie. And the one death I think of is definitely the saying where they're in the, lover's lane. He's on top of the car. He's being hung. And he's like barely surviving. So I enjoy coming back and watching this movie over and over again. Next, we got Jeepers Creepers 2. So of course the third one is really, really bad. I couldn't think they'd get any worse, but then they had Jeepers Creepers Reborn, the fourth one. And that's like the worst movie in the last 20 years. It's just unbelievable they actually put that movie out there. But the second one is like a good, solid sequel. I really love the look of the creeper in this, because you really get a decent continuation from the first movie. But of course, this takes place before the original movie, so it's more or less a prequel. But I remember as a kid leaving Target with that DVD. It's that big bright orange, absolutely like one of those memories stuck in my mind. I was so happy to get this. And of course, the opening scene is the first thing I think of, is when that kid looks to his left and he sees the creeper looking at him like a scarecrow, and then he takes him and he gets away. It's like, that is the way to start a movie out right there. Next, it's called Frankenfish. It's one of those creature movies that you just don't see often. It takes place in the swamps, and it's an alpha over the croc and alligators. So this is the fish that's like a creature from Asia, and they kind of like experiment, and it's bigger. There's more than one. But I definitely watched this a lot as a kid. I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel too. But it has decent casting. The acting's okay. You gotta give it a minute. Like the first act is the slowest part of the movie. But once it gets going, it's not bad. I really enjoy this movie. So it's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next, we got The Thing, the prequel. So this is the latest The Thing movie. So when I first watched this movie, I had no idea it was a prequel. I thought it was just going to be a straight up remake. But then at the end of this, I realized, oh, this is the lead up to the John Carpenter's, Kurt Russell, The Thing. So that was nice seeing how it just did that. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the third act of like them being on the alien spaceship. That was really stupid in my opinion. But I love the start of this. I love having the Swedish actors mixed in with the United States actors. And the creature alone, yeah, a lot of people give it negative reviews because of the CGI look. Because the original, it was all practical effects. So it's like, why didn't we do practical effects on this? So it's CGI, and I get that. But definitely has plenty of moments, especially in the first hour, where it's like, I love this movie. It is really fucking good. Is it better than the John Carpenter's The Thing? Absolutely not. That movie is still fantastic sci-fi movie, but this prequel one, the newest one, isn't bad in my opinion. Next, we got Blair Witch 3. So of course the first one is one of the most iconic found footage movies of all time. The second one, Book of Shadows, it just tanked. It's just garbage. This one kind of brings it back to the first one. It's like half found footage, not, but it's definitely the vibe that you kind of want. You want a little more continuation, a little more story of the history with the Blair Witch itself, and you get to see a little bit of it. So I really enjoyed this movie. It's not bad at all. Is it better than the first one? No, but if you like the first one, this is worth watching in my opinion. Next, we got Dead Silence. I mean, the name, Martha Shaw. There's something about that name. It just is terrifying. And the dolls, there's a lot of movies out there with a doll. Of course, Chucky and Annabelle is the first two I think of. But this is right up there. It's just absolutely terrifying. And the ending, when he finds like the secret passage to get to her spot, that was awesome. And she like comes out with her hands on the doll. That is definitely like a Conjuring 5 in my opinion. But this is definitely one of those movies I haven't seen for a minute, so I'm probably going to want to come back now I'm talking about it. We haven't got a sequel or prequel to this, which is kind of interesting. I know it didn't make a lot of money, so that makes sense, but I enjoy coming back to this type of movie. Next, it's called Frozen. So it's about this group of 3 friends that are stuck on a ski lift, and it's one of those movies where it's like, what would you do in this situation? Because if you stay up there, you're going to freeze to death. If you jump off, you're probably going to die because it's like 40 feet in the air. And it's nasty as fuck because like this one guy does try to get off, but then he gets attacked by wolves. It's just gnarly seeing that scene. But again, it's one of those movies like, what would you do in this situation? I love those type of movies. It's simple, easy to follow, and it's in one location. But it's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. The sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Man, the first thing I think of is the stoner Jack Black. And it's just one of those characters where I forgot he's in this movie till I keep watching. Like, oh, I keep forgetting you're in this movie. But it's nice to have the villain from the first movie back. And he actually gets the hook as a hand because, of course, he gets his hand taken off. So he puts the hook on. It's kind of like what Chucky did in the third movie. And you get the introduction to a new character with Brandy. So this is a decent follow-up from the first movie. But the one thing I didn't like about this movie was Ray. He was like barely in this movie at all. The only time you get to see Ray is like him trying to catch up to, to Julie because they're down in the Bahamas. I love that location setting. It definitely has a lot of good moments in this movie. Is it better than the first one? No, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Next, we got 2010, the remake of The Wolfman. I love this remake. That one scene, that slaughter scene where he's like killing all the people that are like from the carnival, they're on the outskirts of town. It gives me that Sleepy Hollow vibe. And even won an Oscar for the makeup effects. So it's definitely there. The transformation scene isn't bad at all. It's definitely not the greatest CGI though. But you have great actors in this. In the ending, you have the father and son go at it that are both werewolves. Love that movie. Next, we got the TV series to Swamp Man, though, the one and only season. It got canceled like before the first season was even done. But I love the tone of this and the look of the Swamp Man. It's very horror-like, and it was more practical effects than CGI. But I love the lead. Like the first 3 episodes were really, really good. You have fantastic actors, great acting too from everyone in general. I love the location setting of it taking place in the Louisiana swamp, so you get that vibe, but it's really about like a mad scientist also. This TV series is so underrated. I'm so mad they canceled it after season 1. Next, we got The Witch Board. This is like one of the very first Ouija board type movies back in the day. So this movie is not much to talk about, but it's just one of those movies when I was a kid. I watched this so much, and I don't know why. It must be one of those movies that we had on VHS tape, but I think I've watched this like 20 times before I was 10 years old. It's about this guy named David. He died before, but he comes back and just starts killing people in the nastiest way, and you don't get to see him. So it's kind of like Hollow Man, but it's a real like ghost. But it's just definitely one of those movies where it's stuck in my early childhood memories, so it's a guilty pleasure for the rest of my life. Next, it's called The Pyramid. A lot of people hate this movie, and I 100% agree. Like, the creature, the reveal of the creature, the look of the creature, it just doesn't make any sense. But I love how it's kind of like a found footage Blair Witch Project vibe, but it involves the Great Pyramids. So that's cool. I don't know why, but when it comes to like Egyptology, I always have a like fascination for it. It's just a great time period in human history where there's a lot of mysteries, and when it comes to the pyramid, it's very interesting. So this is just really nice. Yeah, you really don't have the greatest acting. The actors, there's like 1 or 2 guys that you recognize in this, but it's just, for me, I think I've seen it like more than 5 times, and that's more than a lot of people have, but I don't mind this movie. Next, we got the remake for The Town That Dreaded Sundown. So this is the movie that Blumhouse, one of the early movies. This was before the Halloween trilogy. So this movie came out. Then like a lot of people saw this movie, and then that's how Blumhouse got the rights to make the David and Gordon Green trilogy. So like going into Halloween 2018, I saw this and I'm like, man, the way they portrayed the killer in this movie, the look of it, the tone of it, I was like, if they can get that with Michael Myers, they're gonna hit a home run. And sure enough, they did. So this movie definitely, like, if you love the original movie isn't the greatest, but it's just one of those, like, if you're a horror fan and slasher genre, you've seen that movie. It's not a bad remake at all, and I could watch this movie over again, no problem. Next, we got this sci-fi series of the Shark Attack and the Megalodon series. These movies absolutely are like not the greatest at all, but if you're a shark fan like me, and back in the day before any streaming, internet, YouTube, this was something that was always on sci-fi, was Shark Attack 1, 2, and 3, Megalodon 1, 2, and 3. So this is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. It's something that I watched so much as a kid. And every time it's on, I just gotta give it like 5 minutes just to watch it. But then I realized as an adult, yeah, not the greatest, but it definitely brings back a lot of childhood memories. So guilty pleasure, 100%. Next is Man's Best Friend. This is about a dog that's like genetically engineered, modified to be a killer. And the first thing I think about is this dog going up a tree and eating a cat alive. And of course, a mailman, their worst fear is being attacked and killed by a dog, and you get to see that in this movie. So this is really like Beethoven on steroids in a horror movie. So if you love this type of movie, I really recommend watching this. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube also. Next is The Mummy Returns, so the Brendan Fraser, the sequel. A lot of people don't like this movie. Me, personally, I have a fond memory of me and my mom going and watch this in theaters, so that alone gives me the guilty pleasure, but I don't mind this at all because you get the villain back again. You get to add the son, which is actually a great add-on for the first movie. He brings the good comedy chops in this, and I love that scene when Brendan Fraser, he walks into his, his house, and his brother-in-law, Jonathan, is like about to be killed with that girl and the snake, and he thought he was like role-playing in a sexual way, and I love that. But for me, yeah, I love the original The Mummy. Me, this is right up there. Do I think this is better than the first movie? No, but it's definitely worth an argument in my opinion. Next, we got the sci-fi movie that came out like in the early 2000s. It's called Sabretooth. Yes, saber-toothed tiger that is like brought back to life, and of course it gets out and it kills a bunch of people. Yeah, of course it's an early CGI, so it doesn't look great, but that one scene wherein the saber-tooth like kills that zookeeper person, oh man, that gets me every time. But I really enjoy this movie. It's something a little different that isn't out there. Like, this is the only saber-toothed tiger movie that's really out there, and it's decently worth watching. But again, yeah, it looks terrible. Next, we got Python. This is one of the snake movies that's outside the Anaconda franchise that I watched a lot as a kid. I mean, it has Robert Englund in it, but the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, it's not the greatest, but man, I had a guilty pleasure watching this so much as a kid, and I think it always will have a little spot in my heart for this movie. Next, we got Komodo. This is really the only like Komodo dragon movie out there, adult, that's like in the horror flick. And again, it's just one of those movies that I watched a lot as a kid. I haven't really seen much of it. I watched it maybe last year, and I watched it from start to finish, so it definitely has that there still. But it's just one of those okay movies from the early 2000s sci-fi where they're trying to come up with a different creature. So like if you want something different, Komodo dragon, you know, it's up there, so it's worth watching. Next, we got Chud. Chud. This is the inspiration that Jordan Peele had for the movie Us. It's about these creatures like underground in the sewers, and they like take all these people and they drag them down and they kill them. I didn't first watch this movie till maybe 4 years ago, and then when I did, I was like, okay, I want to watch this again and again and again. I know there's a sequel out there, but that one absolutely way worse. But like the father from Home Alone, he's in this movie, and in this movie has one of the best commentaries of all commentaries out there. So like every person in this movie is a comedian, and they're in the commentary, and there is like the funniest fucking commentary of my life. I almost want to watch the commentary more than the movie, but the movie itself is just a guilty pleasure that's brand new to me, and I'm super glad I found this movie. Next is Reign of Fire. This is that dragon movie that takes place in London. You got Christian Bale, Gerard Butler just before he did 300, Matthew McConaughey. So this is like great actors in it, and the look of the dragon, it's unbelievable for his time. You got CGI and you get a practical effect of it. It's amazing. I love this movie. Again, it's one of those movies where the third act isn't the greatest, but I can watch this movie over and over and over again, no problem. Next is Anaconda 2. What a great sequel to Anaconda. Is it better than the original? No, but like the whole franchise really fucking sucks when it comes to 3, 4, 5, and then you have like a Lake Placid first Anaconda movie. But this is really the only one that's worth watching. I think I've seen this about 20 times. The snake holds up great. The CGI is not bad. The cast is pretty good, pretty solid. But I love the story. I love how they go back into the jungle for the filming. It's not on set. It's not on stage. So I really enjoyed this movie, and it's definitely a guilty pleasure. And the very last one I want to talk about is Cave. So this movie, Cave, is like The Descent, but with a big-ass fucking flying creature. Multiple creatures, by the way. But this has fantastic acting and has one of those stories where we could definitely have a prequel to this, and we can have a follow-up sequel to this, which we haven't got yet. I think this movie like flopped hard in the box office, but it looks great. The CGI of the creature is amazing. Yeah, the third act isn't the best, but I love how they get started. I love the slow burn of the creature. I love the location of inside the cave. So this is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. Alright, you sexy monkeys, if you're listening to this, that means you lasted about 50 minutes of listening to me talk about 61 movies that I have a guilty pleasure about, and I have no shame in telling you all about this. So, if you're still listening to this, which I don't know if a lot of people are, I want to know what your guilty pleasures are. So jump down in the comments below. And if you like the stuff, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, and all that good shit, because I'll be doing guilty pleasure of action, sci-fi, drama, comedy, all that good stuff. But this is definitely the one I want to start with. And man, I am tired. That's a lot of talking, but man, I love my guilty pleasure movies. Alright, sexy monkeys. Hope you have a good day.